Yo, what's going on, people? Back again, another Tuesday afternoon stream this week, hosted by myself, Chicago Phil, the Romford Lion, Joe Hulbert. But yeah, another Tuesday afternoon stream. Raw was last night. It was a big weekend, of course, because AEW was in Australia. What's it called? Grand Slam. AEW Grand Slam. And yeah, man, there's been things going on. There's been a lot of discourse. There's been podcast comments. There's been more discourse. I didn't think very much of Raw last night, to be honest, but, you know, it happened. Things happened on it. And, yeah, we'll get into it. So anything that you guys want to talk about, of course, as always, get active in the live chat, super chats, normal chats, all that stuff. Just keep us in the know with what you guys want to talk about today. But before we do that, I'm going to see how my guys are doing. Joe, how you doing, bro?
I'm tremendous. It's a beautiful Tuesday evening, as you said. It's been great weather here in Romford. Definitely hasn't rained the whole time. Happy to be here, fired up. Another week of pro wrestling. I've got like a ton of LNG stuff this week too. I'm looking forward to. So I'm tremendous. I've been binging the NWA for Friday's late night grin show. Should I tell you that's the kind of shape I'm in terms of competition. You know, just challenges every day. Like I face them head on, and I'm thrilled to be here with yourself and Phil.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at that tweet.
Yeah. A brave man. Have you noticed that?
You've set yourself quite a mountain of stuff to do this week,
Yeah.
you know. NWA, that's why it's, you know, it's good NWA power though, isn't it? It's not bad NWA power that we're getting into
right now. NWA power.
What? Why?
Because I love the business.
I'm not up to date enough with my own good friends, you know. What projects? What you got going on over there, bro?
I study the business. I love the business. I lead from the front, Montel. You should know this by now. That's what I do. It's what.
What about NWA power could you possibly be studying in 2026?
Something to learn everywhere.
These are current episodes or like
current? Oh yeah. Well,
like
I mean, they were taped in October, so
no.
But they're current. They are current episodes, nonetheless. But
So Cardona's still there, isn't he?
yeah, he works at TV Main Event on like January 30th episode, somewhere around there. So it's an interesting one, but that's not the topic of today. I just was saying that to just give you an idea of my training camp for this show. You know, it's been a great day.
Yeah, something like that. Phil, how was your weekend, man? You get up to anything?
I did not. I didn't feel great most of the weekend, so
Oh no.
that's most of the weekend. But yeah, pretty boring weekend for me. Sorry.
Oh,
nothing exciting like watching NWA Power.
I know. Yeah, I don't know who's gonna have a worse week, you know. Phil recovering from illness or Joe for some reason. So I don't know, I'm too fascinated by this. So who's on NWA Power that you're currently watching? So, you got Matt Cardona.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people are there. EC3 was still there at the time of those tapings.
Okay. What's he doing though?
He's got a faction called the Holy Grail.
Who's in it?
I like the world's champion. Trevor Murdoch's there. There's a plethora of things going on. I mean, it's just there's a lot going on in the NWA. But the point of Friday's show is that it's going to be like covering all the other promotions we don't talk about. So that's, as a leader, Montel, I had to say, I'll take the NWA. Because I could feel
you're
the
going
boys
to take the bullet to be, so at the end, so maybe like next week, you can be like, this is why the other promotions get spoke about. Because when I committed my time and love for the business to this is what it gave me, you know.
It's been fine. I haven't reached any strong conclusions, but it's been fine so far.
Yeah, my strong conclusion, though, I guess, to kick things off. Raw was not a very good show at all last night, I didn't think. The main event, and Javon Evans, of course, qualifying for Elimination Chamber in the main event, like I just said. But other than that, so when you start Monday Night Raw with the Vision, without Braun Breaker, without Seth Rollins, just not really much juice. This is after Bronson Reed has pinned Roman Reigns and they've done nothing with him as well. You've got Austin Theory, Logan Paul running around. Heyman's trying to do something with it. It's just nothing there, you know? And that's what we were opening Raw with. Vision trying to hijack the show, hijacking the Usos' entrance, hijacking the Yeets, you know? and we end up with a 6-man LA Knight goes out there, he cuts a promo, and for his standards, I love an LA Knight promo, but this was just trying to make something out of nothing. And then we have this 6-man, and then a mystery box shows up. Did you see the mystery box, guys?
I did. What do we think? What do we make of that?
Boy,
what year is it, bro?
The Vinceisms are back, baby. Y'all thought we were done. Vinceisms are back, buddy.
This is the first 35 minutes of Raw. Like nothing good happens in that first 35 minutes until the women's triple threat, which wasn't a blowaway spectacular match or anything, but it was like the first remotely decent thing to happen on the show. As for the mystery box show, I don't know, bro. Like I seen people theorizing Jericho. It's like Jericho gonna pop out of a box in Chicago. Like, is this what we're doing? Like,
Jericho has some crazy ideas. I could see him popping for an old school out the box angle, 100%. I don't know. I was intrigued what the kind of prevailing wisdom was. I don't know what people were guessing on that one.
Who was it? Who is it that says, Joe? If you pop out the box, you're instantly over.
That's an old school pro wrestling thing, right? That's like some old school shit. I could see Jericho finding that to be an interesting thing. I mean, when is the box to be opened? Do we know?
Elimination Chamber, I think.
It's got to be someone pretty
the
big,
28,
right?
the 20. It's got the date on it to WWE, not to be opened until 28/02/26.
I mean, it sounds like Jericho, no? Or what do we think? What do you think, fellas?
What do you mean it sounds like Jericho?
Elimination Chamber means it has to be a star of a certain caliber.
Yes.
Jericho isn't going to come out just as like, he ain't just going to, his music isn't going to hit. He's always going to do some weird, quirky fucking... Remember when he came at that time and his thing was he wouldn't talk? Do you remember that? Like, Jericho always has bizarre idea, or the torch idea he had. I mean, I don't know who else it could be.
Jericho's the 2026 gobbledygooker. Like that's what we're doing.
I mean, it could be Danhausen, but I don't think the United Center will be thrilled to see Danhausen after 2 weeks of a box being lifted around. I don't know.
No,
maybe it's Danhausen.
And if you're gonna do a Danhausen WWE run, I can't imagine they're putting him straight on the main roster.
Yeah, he was like an NXT GM candidate to me, which is. I told Montel would happen. He's gonna have to deal with my victory lap when it does. But nonetheless, I don't know. I don't know who it would be.
What?
Who?
Yeah.
Who are the alternatives?
Yeah.
I don't know. You might. What if it's not a person?
It's just the Andre the Giant trophy, and that's just their way of announcing that the Andre's coming back.
Maybe. I don't know.
It's very pro wrestling, but just not.
I mean, it's something to talk about. At least I don't mind a good mystery. I mean, it sounds a lot more interesting than a Vision 6-man. I'll tell you that much for sure.
What about like the Wyatts or something like?
But they don't need to be.
Could the Wyatts be? No, but it could be planning. I don't know. Could somebody be coming in to join the Wyatts? I don't know, bro.
Why would they be in a box though?
Yeah, they could just show up.
Wyatts are just weird, isn't it? So,
The fact there's a date makes
Why
me
does
think
Jericho
like
have to be in a box?
Well, maybe it's like
what are we talking about?
Maybe
man?
it's like a contractual thing, and that's the date he's free to come. That's why it has the date on it. I don't know.
See, he's all evil. Come on, man. You
That's
can't.
what it is. The evil's just gonna be in the box.
What would the reaction
Straight from Japan.
Would the crowd pop if it was evil?
Straight from Japan. Don't open until February 28th.
Oh man, I kind of enjoy bullshit like this. I hope it's funny, whoever it is. I want it to be something really funny, really funny. Maybe it's like a Leo.
There's no way.
It might be just some more Netflix synergy thing, like the whole Golden Egg
100%.
thing.
Yeah,
or
that's
like,
what I mean. Okay,
It's
It
probably-
could definitely be that. Yeah.
It's probably just something like.
What
with
films
Netflix.
are coming out, bro?
Yeah, I don't know.
What they got on there,
It could absolutely be some cross promotion stuff. No question, it could be. Yeah.
I feel like that would be my leading guess at this point because Jericho just feels. Like, come on, man. It's just, I got nothing, man.
The box just like bursts into pieces. He comes out, break the walls down.
That's the shit he's on, though. So. He's
Don't underestimate
Jericho,
how nuts Jericho is, man. Like that guy's. He could have easily been sitting there, saw a fucking like out of a box angle from 1984 and gone, oh, I could bring that back. Like, he's nuts. It's possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah, like you said, you can never underestimate Jericho because no matter how much bullshit he does it with so much conviction and confidence that, like, the 9 times out of 10, the crowd will just go with it anyway, you know? Because he's so strong-minded with his visions, you know? But, there was a mystery box. And yeah, man, like I said, that first 35 minutes, it wasn't great. The vision without Seth, without Braun, it's rough, man. And I think even when Braun comes back, it's like, when Braun was there, it's like, I'm not feeling the urge to see him with the vision. Do you know what I mean? I like him with Paul. Bro, let's call it what it is. Austin Theory and Logan Paul, bro. Like, what are we doing? What is this?
It's a loaded question.
Like, why did Logan Paul need to be put in a faction? Like, he didn't need, like, the extra heat or anything. I thought, like, I'm not a Logan Paul guy, obviously, but, like, and I'm not saying that I'm his biggest fan, but the way they were using him as just kind of somebody to come in, be a heel for a bit, have a match on a pay-per-view, you know, tap into his massive audience, blah, 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 like, I can understand it, but it's like this, putting him as part of, like, your main event heel group, it's just like, I just didn't see I didn't see any necessity in it, other than, like, I don't know, Heyman likes him, you know? Then, like, the Theory thing, it's like, oh, okay. It's just funny because people spent so long, I say people, like, there was, like, a small section of fans that when he was doing his heel stuff with Grayson Waller, he's going to turn heel. No, he's going to turn babyface. When's Theory going to turn face? I can't wait for babyface Austin Theory. I didn't understand it, but I was seeing it. You know them ones. I was definitely seeing it. It was happening. It was a real thing. And then they bring him. He goes off TV for whatever reason. I don't know if he was injured. I don't know if he was just called off or whatever. But then he comes back and he's part of a heel group, and it's like, if you're one of those, I don't know if it's bizarre to me, Austin Theory fans that was like hoping, like, how deflating must that have been? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, him just coming back to be dude number 4, still a heel in a group that's not gonna get him over, you know. So what, like, I just don't see the point in any of this.
Brought him back as a young lion, basically shaved his head, put him in all black.
Yesterday he tried to kind of like crash out on Adam Pearce, and like he couldn't get the fire exit to open properly, and the cameraman had to like go off him.
I continue to say they chose the less interesting guy to turn heel and do anything with. I still think Grayson Waller is much more interesting than him. And I don't understand why they went in that direction and why Waller is still now walking around with Kofi Kingston. I just don't get it. I don't know what's happening there.
Yeah, that anything around the New Day verse is I don't know. There's a lot of questions, over this past year or so. You know, Woods is injured now. That's Kofi. I think Kofi said on Raw last night. Got a shoulder injury. So yeah, you got Kofi and Grayson Waller walking and running around, hating on Adam Pearce, doing it, whatever they're doing at the moment. A lot of this stuff isn't making sense to me, Joe. You know, Raw's just a weird time. Like, even with the Ibu method, like, which I'll go and explain again, is when you start watching about an hour late, you can skip through the ads, you can skip through all the fluff that you don't want to watch, blah blah blah. You know, that's how I have to watch Raw if I'm going to be watching it anything close to live now. And I feel like that kind of, like, it softens the blow of, like, bad Raws, because, like, I don't watch any of it because I skip through that 6-man. I skip through. I don't know what else was there. I skip through like the Americanos versus Penta. Like, I don't need to see this stuff, you know. When you skip through it, it kind of like softens the blow of how bad a show is sometimes. And it's not that this show is an absolute disgrace or anything, but like by the end of it, I was just kind of like, well, it wasn't a good show or whatever. And I woke up this morning, looked at the timeline, had a little kind of like refresh of what actually happened last night, and I was like, wait, Raw was crap last night, bro. Like, what the fuck?
It feels like SmackDown's been better lately. I don't watch Raw as closely. I see SmackDown most weeks. And I think it's actually been considerably stronger than it was previously. I can't compare it to Raw because I don't watch Raw enough, but what I'll say for SmackDown is, this time going with 3 hours, they've at least embraced it with some action. And they at least are trying to get new people over. The results are mixed and varied, but like, you know, there's at least you get the sense the people involved in the show realize we need to like get some new faces involved. And I appreciate that. So, not to say SmackDown's been perfect, it isn't, but I think the show's been decent as of late. As for Raw, it seems to me to be a show that has a really rigid and repetitive format to me. And the lack of action, the way the show's paced, the ad format makes for a pretty rough watch from what I can understand.
Yeah. It's also a show that really relies on star power. They want to be able to be the show that gets all of the biggest stars. But the problem is all of the biggest stars that they want to be there aren't always available. It's like when you're booking it around, okay, when Punk is there, maybe we'll get an AJ Lee sighting here or there. Maybe we'll see Roman in a few weeks. Mm-hmm. And then whatever the Cody schedule, because you're essentially sharing Cody with SmackDown. Yeah, it's just wildly inconsistent.
Yeah, it's kind of like on a bit of a shaky run, you know. Raw is SmackDown going to 3 hours. We all dreaded it. I still dread it, you know. But he definitely does have more worthwhile content within that 3 hours and Raw crams into their 2.5 on a Monday, which, considering how unbalanced the rosters are, that kind of shouldn't really be the case, you know, but it is at the moment. And so the Becky and AJ stuff, it's just not clicking the way that I think if you're a fan of either of them, or especially the guys at WWE, that you would have hoped to. It's just kind of, without Punk and Seth there just hasn't been kind of like that, I don't know. Because like when it was like the 2-on-2 stuff, like there was some, like it was quite interesting, blah 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 blah. You know, it weren't perfect. Don't get me wrong, but it was something like, you know, I can get into it, whatever. This just isn't. Obviously, we've got Becky's doing a current like over the top Trumpy whatever gimmick, you know, and compared to last week, she did tone it down a bit last night, but it's just like it's still, you know. Nothing's really clicking with this feud, you know what I mean? It's not really building to anything. It doesn't feel like the big match that it should feel like. Like, this is Becky Lynch, arguably one of the greatest of all time, against AJ Lee, arguably one of the most influential in WWE's women's division in the past 20 years. So it's like, this should matter quite a lot. It should feel big, you know, and it doesn't. It just feels kind of like, you know, Becky's doing a shtick and AJ Lee's like, still trying to like brush the rust off, you know. It's like it kind of, and apparently, you know, Dave was saying up until like even a week ago that they still got the Mania match like on the rundowns and stuff. So, you know, maybe it's meant to feel like that or something, you know. Then like,
no, I think it was always bold to bring AJ back in September and be like, this is the WrestleMania match. You know, I mean, with all respect, this is not. It did not scream to me saying there needed to be a 7-month arc, you know. And I understand AJ missed time along the way, but it's the same thing, isn't it? You can only do so much with this particular dynamic. Now, I presume it will change at the Chamber. You know, either Becky's going to steal one at the Chamber, or AJ's going to win at the Chamber, and then Becky's going to be on the hunt, which will change the dynamic. But right now, they're running in place, and it's the same thing broadly they were doing in September. So, you know, I think it's been a mistake in a range of ways. I don't think it's done anything for Becky. I think for AJ, it's immediately kind of made her. It's taken the shine off what's a really like interesting story, her return after all those years, because she's just tied to the same person. I don't think it's really serving anyone, from what I understand. I mean, again, I don't watch it closely, so I'm speaking somewhat with guesswork, but it doesn't seem like either party is benefiting from it right now.
Yeah. I think that detour for the Maxine feud didn't really do anything to keep this interesting. And then you had like really weird blind spots like AJ not being in the Rumble and not appearing for weeks and then coming back after the Rumble to restart this feud, and nothing has really hit since then.
Yeah, like you just mentioned, Phil, the scheduling has been a bit weird. Like, I remember like when she showed up on Raw for the first time again, like what was it, like last week, the week before, whenever it was. She popped up on the screen walking in with CM Punk or however they did. And I was like, wait, what? What the fuck? What the fuck, bro? it weren't like some big announcement. Then also it weren't some huge surprise either. Like, and I know obviously she's already done a big comeback, and you're not gonna like, but what, you know.
The Rumble would have helped because
the Rumble definitely.
You would have got a bunch of those moments where it's like, oh shit, AJ opposite this person or versus this person, you know, and that would kind of rejig and refuel the excitement of like this person who hasn't been around for a long time is back. All of that has really fallen to the wayside. So much so that I'm intrigued what both women do after Mania, because I don't like. It feels like Becky needs like a little bit of a reset to me.
Yes.
But I'm fascinated what AJ does after she's done working with Becky, because it's like she's immediately been parked, right? She came back and was immediately parked in that particular program. So the idea of her just kind of being in the wild with the talent, like I don't know if we're ever even going to see that to the level people hope we would. So that will be interesting. It's I don't know.
Because like you said, this hasn't done much for either of them. But it's like when AJ Lee, like she had a live promo before she was before she called out Becky Lynch and she came out and they went back and forth. But like she was talking and it felt like a while, like it wasn't her best promo by any means, you know. But like at one point in it, she does mention like potentially facing like the Rhea Ripleys of the world, and you know she went through like a list of names, and the crowd was popping, and like the crowd does want to see her have these interesting matchups. And to your point about the Rumble, exactly, like she could have, you know, hit a DDT on Bailey or fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, and just go around like and have these cool interactions, and they missed a lot of that with the Women's Rumble. So, you know, it has been weird. I would like to hope that they can kind of course correct, especially if it is the Mania match, which I don't think would be that surprising, to be honest. Hopefully they can course correct, and like you said about Becky, hopefully she can kind of. She's in a weird mode at the moment, and the worrying part about it, like always with wrestling, is that she's very much seems to be enjoying it. So, she's like doing some of her worst stuff in terms of like from a critical standpoint, and she's at a point in her career where I don't even know if she fucking cares about that shit, you know. Right. But she's doing some of her worst stuff from a critical point of view, whether she cares about it or not. But it seems like she's enjoying what she's doing more than she has in like a little minute, you know. I don't want to say it's like the best run she's having in her career for like personal satisfaction or anything, but it does seem like she's enjoying this bullshit that she's on at the moment. So that's where it can get scary with wrestling, you know.
Yeah, I thought it was, everything she was doing as a character last year was working, and I enjoyed a lot of it last year. Even the stuff she did with Punk in that segment, I liked it, but the stuff recently, I think it's just because I don't know if they know exactly where they want to go with AJ, and I think that's really what's a bit confusing. I still think it's very weird as well that they've tried to do like this nostalgia stuff of bringing Nikki Bella back, and I keep wondering like, all right, what's the end goal for this Nikki Bella stuff? And then you have AJ back, and they haven't interacted at all. Like that's kind of weird, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very weird. The entire use of AJ has been a little bit weird, to be honest, but. I said the way that she's just been kind of only interacted really with Becky Lynch, and she was in War Games, which is cool, but she only really interacted with Becky Lynch, and then she was parked for a while, and then she comes back and it's Becky Lynch again, and it's like I don't know, it's just weird. Like even with Nikki Bella, it's like
was a missed opportunity because the way she was added to War Games was literally just like a bonus feature. Like AJ's going to be in it too, like. And in reality, that was her teaming with Rio. Every time I say Rio now, it's one name for me. This happened to you guys too. It's a real issue for a podcast. But nonetheless, Rio, Io, Alexa, and Charlotte were her tag partners, which in theory is like a crazy thing, right? And like the crowds liked it. I'm not saying they didn't, but what I'm saying is like they didn't get a lot of mileage out of it. Like, do you remember them sharing the screen a lot all before that? Because I don't. They did like a couple promos, I think, and that was it. Yeah. So. That's part of it too. I think that should have hit more and should have been a bigger thing. Her team with all those women is a big deal, and I don't think they got a lot of juice out of that. So, yeah, it's almost like they're not really that excited about using her in it. Almost.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's it's all bizarre. It's all very bizarre. We'll see how it kind of unfolds heading into Mania. But yeah, the Becky and AJ stuff that's just not been hitting. But yeah, shout out Javon Evans. He's going to Elimination Chamber. He won his qualifying match against Gunther and Dominic Mysterio last night in the main event of Raw. Got a huge pop for it as well. There was kids jumping up and down with excitement seeing him get the win, which was cool to see. Stuff like that always pops me when somebody gets over with the kids, you know. And yeah, Javon in the Elimination Chamber, bro. I can see him almost stealing the show. He's gonna do the big spots and stuff like that. Like that's definitely gonna be his role in that match, you know. He's coming off one of the pods. He's gonna hang from the ceiling or you know what I mean. He's gonna do something mad, but. Yeah, happy to see him get the opportunity. Hopefully, he can. I'd like to see him get one pinfall in it. Might be being a bit optimistic, hoping for that. But if he can get one pinfall, that would be cool. You know, maybe set up a Mania match for him or whatever. You know, but yeah, man, Javon Evans. But obviously, he was part of a little bit of discourse earlier in the week because brother Kevin Nash on his podcast was I don't know, trying to give him some advice, but it just came out horrifically, or was he trying to be like a bit more critical? I don't know, but he basically he got his wording all completely wrong. Said that he had like Mr. Bojangles. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but he said he had Mr. Bojangles vibes, and you'd like to see him have a bit more of an edge, and he should be a bit more urban. And it's like just some of the selection of language was like, because like there was, you know, he was obviously trying to make a much more broader point. But like I said, as soon as you say things like Mr. Bojangles, if you don't know, look it up. As soon as you say things like as soon as you say to a black talent like you know, he should be a bit more urban or whatever. It's like, come on, bro. If this was a white guy, words like Mr. Bojangles and urban wouldn't have been used in those critics or advice, whatever you want to call it, you know. And that's what kind of makes it touchy, you know. That's what kind of makes people like kind of be like, oh, bro, what are you saying, you know? Or some people go the complete extreme of like, fuck Kevin Nash now, you know. But I'm not quite there. I do think he chose his words very poorly in that instance, but yeah, Javon Evans, I like Javon. I like how he carries himself. I don't really think he needs to add that much of an edge to his character at this point. He's still a baby, man, you know. And it's like I think having that kind of youthful energy about him, he's it works right now, you know, like I was just saying, the kids and that fucking love him, bro, you know, and if he started like kind of walking around, frowning around and all this and that, it's just, I don't think that's what he should be doing right now, you know, so.
No.
And he's in chamber, and he's going to shine in the chamber, and I think what he's doing right now is working for him, and he's going to continue to get more and more over, and I think before we start looking at character changes, let him kind of like bed in because it's working so far so good, I think, so... That's kind of where I'm at with Javon. I think he's definitely one of the brighter talents in the business at the moment.
Yeah, he's in that very familiar spot. We see a lot of young black talent come in, and they're uber athletic, and they give them like the big, cool highlight reel spots in these big matches. And it worked for him. It worked for Shelton. It worked for Kofi and countless other guys. But then when it's time to actually develop them as characters and give them feuds, give them rivalries, that's when it gets a little bit tough because the company seems to struggle with that. And I feel like that's the issue with Javon. It's a little bit why I was worried about moving him up from NXT, because they didn't give him really the standout feuds down there. They didn't give him the big title win down there. They just moved him up, and then he's been having great performances so far, but like he hasn't really changed other than I'm happy to be here having good matches. And that might be what Nash was alluding to. Boy, he could have said it in a way better way. If he was just like, I don't want to see him doing the happy-go-lucky stuff. I want to see him show, you know, more of an edge, more of like a competitive edge. That would have worked better. But like just the wording he used is, yeah, that just wasn't it. That wasn't it, Nash.
Oh, wrestlers and podcasts. Old wrestlers and podcasts. Right now, all wrestlers and podcasts, you know. They'll just be saying anything, and sometimes you can tell that they just have not thought it through at all. I don't think like Kevin Nash is this hateful racist or anything like that. I just thought
I think he just didn't consider how that sounded. I'm not sure how he didn't, but you know, also When you don't have to think about race and how these things sound all the time, you kind of, fumble through these things. So not that surprising.
Yeah, man. Javon Evans, I think he's had a good first few months, and there's been, I think they're actually, with some of the younger black talent, there is a lot of kind of like promise, and it's just like, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves and think, they're getting it right now, because they've shown us time and time again how they can fumble these things. But it's like Javon Evans has got a lot of momentum. Trick Williams is unbelievably over at the moment. Obafemi, of course, has a nice bit of momentum, and you can tell that they have some big plans for him. Carmelo Hayes, he's doing his United States Championship run, which he's getting over very well. There's these positive things going on. It's just hopefully they can see them through, especially with the former three. Obviously, Melo's been on the main roster a bit longer, and look how long it took him to kind of get like a run like this, where he can actually. I've said it to like Joe a few times. Like when you see Melo wrestle, like over the past couple of years when he first came to the main roster, it's like you can almost visibly see the chip on his shoulder. Like he's always got, even if you don't think his matches are that great, or you don't think his style's for you or whatever, like I always thought it was undeniable, but he'd always have a chip on his shoulder. And anytime he got any half of an opportunity against somebody decent, like he'd fucking go for it, man, and he still does that now with the belt. And I think him getting an opportunity like he has with these US title open challenges, he's producing exactly what I would have expected him to. It's just taken like, I don't know, like a year, two, like, or however long it's been, But yeah, Joe, like, there's positive things going on, but it's always important not to get too carried away with WWE, isn't it?
I think, generally I think it is. But I definitely get it. I think there's a lot of merit to Phil's point about being kind of pigeonholed and slotted a certain way, and being the guy who, I suppose recently with Javon, one of my concerns with Javon was his youth can almost be used as a weapon against him in some regards, in the sense of like, you can beat Javon a lot on TV and be like, it's fine, like his day will come, and here's the thing, that's fair, right? That's actually not terrible logic. The issue is you need to make sure that the day comes. You can't just kind of and it'll get there eventually. And so I think all evidence suggests right now they're very, very high on Javon, and as they should be. It'll be intriguing to see where all of the kind of younger talent lands on WrestleMania, which is always an interesting kind of a thing to circle in terms of where they see a guy, right? Like, Trick's getting a big push right now. It feels like he's getting a lot of TV time. What does that translate to at WrestleMania? Is something that's always intriguing to me. Like, is he going to beat Sami Zayn at WrestleMania? Because if so, they're all in.
Feels like he should.
Yeah, if he's in that spot, that tells you a lot. In the same vein, if he's in a 6-pack challenge, and he's just in it, then it kind of makes you realize, okay, there's still a ways to go, right? And that's not a good or a bad thing necessarily. It just is what it is. So that's always interesting to me. There's a lot of guys that are going to be kind of looking for their landing spot at Mania in that mid card. To your point about Melo, I think Melo has been fantastic in the last few months. I was not a huge Melo believer in NXT. I just didn't see it necessarily. I liked his initial stuff on SmackDown as a heel personality. I thought his promos were good. His matches were not really to my taste. I think he's been fantastic in the last few months. Been really, really enjoying him. He's working with a little bit extra kind of... I think he's just putting a little extra thought into his matches. He's taking his time a little bit more maturity, because sometimes... How long has Melo been wrestling? A while, right? He's been in the game for a minute, I want to say. And he's getting to that point where I think it starts to slow down and you start to really get it and let the people are so behind him. So watching him just kind of relish that as a babyface has been wonderful. So he's been in great form. So he's been a real highlight. I mentioned earlier about SmackDown being the better show. To me, he's a big part of that, because he's actually slotted as the action guy on the show, right? He gives the 100%. Show quality in-ring action, which is a good spot to be in when there isn't a ton of it surrounding him at times.
So Carmelo Hayes debuted in 2014, according to Cage Match. Yeah, so over a decade in the biz.
And he's early 30s. So I mean,
he is 31.
Yeah, so he's in that sweet spot where he's starting to really find his groove as a wrestler. Who he's going to be as a pro wrestler.
He's peaking. It's starting to peak.
And I watched him and Leon. It was really noticeable. him working as the veteran and as the grizzled vet in there roughing up Leon. So I was like, man, this dude's like really, really dialed in. He really is on fire right now. So and the crowd's with him too. It was a low key thing. It was not something that they're going to give match of the month buzz or anything. That 10-man tag he was in was like really fun. That's always a good way to kill TV time, dude. A big 8-man, 10-man tag with some of the guys on the roster. Like it was a hit. The crowd loved it. They loved Mello. It was a good time.
Yeah, man. Hopefully he gets to defend. Hopefully he gets to Mania with the belt. I think that would be cool. And obviously he defends it on the actual show and not like the SmackDown after or some shit or the SmackDown before like they like to do. Yeah, so like, that would be great for him to have a total defense on Mania. Obafemi obviously would be great if he could beat Brock Lesnar at Mania. Trick if he can beat Sammy. And then Javon Evans, I guess, see if anything kind of unfolds majorly at Elimination Chamber for him. And then hopefully he could have like a nice spot on the Mania card as well, because I think it is kind of, 2026 kind of should be. Because we spoke about this at nauseum, and I don't want to get into the whole kind of like almost like backlog of great talent they've got waiting to like break into that very tippy top of the card, But like it is, we're gonna get to a logjam at some point, aren't we? You got all the talent I just mentioned, and obviously you've still got your Gunthers, you've still got your Jacob Fatu, you've still got your Bron Breakers, you've still got whoever else comes up. And on the women's side, I'm sure there's more there, and it's just, it's gonna get unbearable, isn't it? At a certain point. And so Mania could be a good opportunity to sort of showcase some of these guys that we're talking about. Gunther, it's looking like maybe Rey Mysterio at Mania, maybe. Yeah. Dragon Lee cost him yesterday in that triple threat main event that Javon Evans subsequently won. So yeah, it does feel like, it could end up being Ray, because like when Dragon Lee first came out and confronted, it's like, okay, it's AJ Styles is a previous partner, like, do one little angle, get some heat on him. It seems like they're actually persisting with this and doing something with it. So I doubt it's going to be next weekend, which is Elimination Chamber. Then It's like, what? Then we're looking at Mania, aren't we? So it's like maybe they do Ray and Gunther. I don't think Ray's retiring yet, so it wouldn't be a retirement match.
That's the issue, though, right?
It's like, what's Gunther doing? It's what I've been fucking bitching and complaining about for months now. It's like Gunther's the hottest fucking heel in wrestling. Well, he's already starting to cool down a bit because they just don't have much of an idea for him, evidently, for Mania. And he's retired Goldberg last year. He retired Cena. He's retired AJ just, and it's like you give someone all that. You give someone all that heat. Like he should be like your world champion going into Mania, shouldn't he? Yeah. And I'm here scratching my head thinking, maybe Rey Mysterio in a non-stipulation, non-title, non-nothing match.
It's weird. Yeah, it doesn't really add up. It's I'm more than happy to watch him wrestle. I just don't like they beat Ray a lot too on TV. It's like obviously Ray's one of the all-time greats, but he's not like a protected guy all on TV. So it just doesn't really. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't really add up to me.
I think the Orton match makes more sense, but even the Orton match, there's no real stakes other than he's facing another legend and happens to be facing a guy that also was kind of like a legend killer gimmick.
Yeah.
But I think that's at least more interesting than a Ray match.
He's more protected at least, yeah.
Yeah. But he has already beat him, hasn't he? So,
I definitely get Phil's point. In the
good
sense
matches,
though. You could at least do something with that, like, character clash. Yeah, I definitely get that. I kind of would rather they just go the complete opposite way and have him wrestle a guy who's peeved at him killing off all these legends. Which is about Javon. That'd be more interesting to me, dude. Like, and you could say that's beneath Gunther, but like we're talking about him wrestling Ray and Randy, which respectfully they're two great pro wrestlers, legendary pro wrestlers, but they're not main event matches, really, at WrestleMania, right? Like, if instead it was a thing where Javon Evans was like, this guy's beat dudes I've grown up on. Like, I'm going to turn the tables on him. That to me is almost more interesting. Or someone fresh, someone new. The idea of him wrestling another legend who isn't retiring is like, it's just like, it doesn't really intrigue me very much. I don't know.
Yeah, they've put themselves into a weird position. Justice, this obviously about Javon. Just pinned Dom in the triple threat. That could set up a title match. It could, I guess it could. Dom's obviously title round. I know he got injured, but obviously he should have just relinquished the belt because, he's been back, and only just last night it was first it was mentioned about him even possibly defending the belt, and then Punk had a shot at him not defending the belt as well, and it was just, So yeah, they got to figure out what to do with the IC title situation. Maybe it could be Javon. Who knows? I don't think that would be a terrible spot, winning the IC title on your first Mania. But we'll see. All four of those talent that I just spoke about could end up not even on the card. This is how WWE can do you sometimes. There is a real possibility of that, though, isn't there? Don't you think? Like Carmelo. Who would you say is the safest bet? Like.
That's going to make the card out of those guys?
I'd probably say Oba, probably because of the rumours surrounding Brock, but then there was the report that Brock's facing in LA, so it's like...
And Oba's on SmackDown, right?
Yeah.
So he's on neither. He hasn't signed.
Didn't they imply a SmackDown, or am I... Him and Aldis did that segment, right?
They've been trying to... He's like the hot free agent, isn't he?
Got ya.
Like the Bron Breakker thing, and he's like first draft pick, and like they did with Melo and that. So, he showed up on both. Pierce has tried talking to him. Aldis has tried talking to him. Rusev, fucking Rusev. Rusev tried to step to over Femi,
I mean, that would be a great match if we
funny
could,
guy.
If we could eventually get to it, but I think Oba is probably the safest bet out of those guys. I'm not convinced that Javon or Melo are going to make the WrestleMania card. And at this point, it's just kind of hard to see where Trick fits in, like unless it's like a big multi-man match or something.
Right.
I don't know. There's so much on WWE programming that kind of feels directionless at this point with Mania almost 2 months away. So who knows? I don't know.
I think Trick not being on Mania, if his momentum continues to just build and build like it has recently, would be like a huge missed opportunity. Because if we're going off just the past couple of weeks, bro, he's one of the hottest people in the promotion. Straight up. I mean, they love him. I always knew they would, but Jesus.
Would that surprise you? I mean, as into the Kit Wilson thing people were, and then he wasn't in the Rumble, so...
Yeah, but that's Kit Wilson, isn't it? I think there's levels. There's levels, though. Kit Wilson, bro.
I'm just saying, like, if this company cared about reactions and they were doing things based on reactions, then that's a clear example where they should have done something with Kit Wilson. I'm not saying like they're on the same level, but like it's the same thing with LA Knight. Still. It's like if like you see the reactions to this guy, and we're still at this same point we were 2 years ago. Like, what are we gonna do with this guy?
He was on Mania though.
And
he was on the Mania.
To Phil's point, they could absolutely look at a new face like Trick and be like, he can win the Andrade and then we'll restart after Mania. Yeah. They do that often with guys.
Yeah.
The reality is let's be real, they don't know all the title matches at Mania. So, they'll get to Trick in like, March 10th and they'll go, we'll do this, we'll do that. They'll decide then and there, boom, they move on. With someone new, sometimes they do just see it as like, we'll figure it out after Mania. Now, I think Trick actually may be figured in because I think he may wrestle and beat Sami Zayn, but even not that, to Phil's point, it would probably be like a multi-man. And there's only so many of those because there's going to be a ladder match, right? So it's like one of the belts is going to get a ladder match. There's going to be like some sort of four corners situation. There's always got you kind of the party matches. So it's a matter of who falls in which slots, basically. I don't know what the correct match would be for the ladder match, but there's always a ladder match. There has to be. It's the rules, isn't it? I don't even know if that's true, but it feels right.
All right. Javon Evans and Cole. But so last night on Raw, it was announced, graphic and everything, that there will be an AJ Styles tribute next week on Raw. Don't know what this means. Confused a lot of people. Thought he was gone, but he's coming back for a tribute, it seems. Who knows? It might just be a video package. We don't know, But they already paid a video package though to advertise the tribute. So I wonder what they got planned here. Some people think, see, he's staying. Some people think, some of the AEW fans are getting a bit worried that he might not be coming in now because this seems like an angle, Yeah, man, it's weird. It's a hard one to call, isn't it? Because I've never been too confident either way. I don't know. I don't know what this is, Phil.
Yeah, I was I don't know. I thought there was a pretty good chance he could go to AEW after Royal Rumble. I'm not as certain anymore because this does feel like they're running an angle. And why would they run an angle if he's not going to be there? Why would they continue to mention him on their show if he's not going to be there? I don't know how you get around the fact that he was beaten in a retirement match. Like, he agreed to a retirement match. So I don't know what this means. I don't know what this means at all. This could be just another way to continue to get heat on Gunther. But at this point, you've gotten as much heat on Gunther as you can out of this. And if you're going to continue to get heat on it, he has to go somewhere. Like, there has to be an opponent. This has to build to something.
Yeah, it's it's bizarre. Is he? I mean, I don't know, Joe.
It's been strange. It's been a strange thing. I don't know what to make of it. It's to be completely honest, I've loved watching AJ Styles wrestle, but I cannot wait until this chapter is like officially closed, where we're like, where we have to talk about his retirement like it's not retirement because it might not be on, because it's just fucking. It's honestly unlike anything I can recall. It's very, very strange. It feels very feasible that he is sincerely retired. Which makes all of the conversations surrounding that retirement unfortunately very funny. But it seems feasible. They're going to do a tribute of some sort, which sounds... I'm wondering the lengths they're going to go. I assume Abyss is going to come out. Right? He'll be back.
We got to get some special faces.
Yeah, maybe they can fly Dixie in, but it should be fun. And look, the take on this genuinely is it's going to be AJ's call. His contract is legitimately up. If he wants to wrestle elsewhere, he will be paid handsomely to do so. And if he retires, he's going to be of his own. Like, it isn't a case where they've forced him into retirement because his contract's up. So he's free, So he needs to do whatever he wants to do. He is 48 years old, which is why I was always kind of like unsure of how to approach such a topic. It's a strange one. This kind of just like it felt like it came out of nowhere. And I know it's only been a couple of weeks, but it still was kind of funny. Just all of a sudden, it was like, next week, we're in Georgia. So, but I shall be watching the AJ Styles, what are they calling it? The AJ Styles tribute?
Tribute. Yeah, tribute. Whatever that means.
They're going to bring in a live band?
I've seen some people speculate that it might be like, like the little angle that they did with Ricochet. But it's like, they're not going to do that to AJ. They see AJ as when Bron Breakker like power slammed him on the car, and that was like the last we seen of Ricochet when he was like took off in an ambulance or whatever. Because it's like people were like, why is he back after this? Because he had like a match that everyone thought was the last one, and then they did backstage. Yeah. They did the backstage where he was taken out and like fully written off properly, by Bron Breakker, I think it was. So
I mean, it could be.
But I just don't think they'll do that with AJ.
Yeah, but if they feel like, again, I say if because I don't know, but if they feel like he's going elsewhere and he's still got dates left on his deal, they may just say, look, can we get a little more heat on someone? And he would do that, Yeah,
of course. So, of course, he would.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I found it to be a very puzzling situation, and that somehow it got even weirder with this, and it's an odd one for sure. We'll see what it looks like. We'll see if it's it could be one of those deals where in a week's time it makes a lot of sense to us, right? They get heat on someone, they do something where it's like, oh, maybe that's where he is. Maybe he's not even done wrestling in WWE ring. I don't know what. I mean, things change quickly. They may have looked at the Gunther lineup of matches we just arranged and said, fuck it, let's have him wrestle Gunther again. They may have done that. I don't know.
Do some bullshit. It was like, he'll never wrestle on Raw again. You know,
No, I have no idea.
He's retired from Raw.
Anything's possible to me at this point. Yeah.
I just don't know how you run back a retirement match.
You can't.
Like, how do you go back after the finality of, like, this was a retirement match. He was ready to take his gloves off and put him in the ring. I just don't know how you walk that back.
Yeah.
Aaron's got the ideas, bro. Dragon Lee's gonna unretire him. He pins Gunther. Dragon Lee, he's gonna bring AJ back to us. Oh man, imagine. So, you know what? Someone's just sitting around like Dragon Lee. You know what? Let's do it. You know, let's go for it. Dragon Lee's great, but you know, clearly WWE hasn't seen him the way that a lot of us do over his time there thus far. But yeah, don't know what's going on with AJ. I haven't been very confident at all, and like Joe said, since last night, I'm even more confused now. So I think I'm trying my best not to wrap my head around it too much and just kind of let it, as they say, let it play out, you know. Because yeah, like it is weird. Again, like Joe said, like it's this weird space that we're in the moment where it's like we talk about his retirement like it wasn't a retirement. It's like if AJ had retired, like we was talking about Tanner and John Cena, it's like it's an opportunity for us to like talk and reminisce on their careers and stuff. And you don't want to get too caught up in that just in case you've just been fucking worked. And it's like you go through this whole reminiscing and walking down memory lane for nothing, you know, when maybe it's not supposed to happen for another couple of years. But hopefully, you know, by the end of the summer, this will be kind of put to bed. You know,
I hope so, yeah. If
he'll either show up.
If we do this by spring, that would be ideal, yeah. It would be great.
It would be nice. But yeah, I guess keeping it, that was kind of, I guess, our transition subject over to AEW. Grand Slam Australia was this past week, and I thought it was a good show. I did think it was a good show. There was a lot of things on there that I liked. Let's just start with like the matches, I guess, like the actual show itself. Phil, you got a favourite match from the show? Grand Slam?
It was probably the ladder match. I wasn't thrilled about going back to Mark Fletcher for a 7th time, especially because we seemingly sacrificed an interesting Ciampa run to get to that. But the match itself really delivered. I didn't think that the match wouldn't be good. I was just confused why we were taking the belt off of Ciampa to go back in this direction. But fair play to Cal Fletcher, still one of the best wrestlers on this roster currently. Him and Mark Davis have incredible chemistry together, and this match was fantastic.
Yeah, man, Kyle's, you know, he's definitely one of the bright sparks in AEW. He could achieve anything this year, to be honest, and I don't think it would be too shocking. You know, like if Kyle Fletcher wins the world title at some point in 2026, I don't think anybody would be too like stunned about that. You know, he really is like a talent of that level, and yeah, man, is this three-time TNT champion now? Or was it just the one?
I think it's 2.
2, I think,
Yeah. Second,
okay,
right?
So this is his second. I couldn't remember if he like dropped it short term. But okay. But yeah, Fletcher, Briscoe. Briscoe's always gonna deliver, you know. You have a ladder in there with any of the Briscoes, you know. It's the same old story. Tale as old as time, you know. But yeah, that was good shit. So yeah, but yeah, the Ciampa thing, like you said, Phil, was kind of interesting. I do think like you had potential there for an interesting reign. Like, it already had me kind of intrigued how they're gonna play it and stuff. And the match with Kyle was great, you know.
Yeah.
It was great, but
I mean,
you know, it's
came straight in, had 3 bangers. I mean, I thought we were heading into the winner of Ciampa, man, with the title.
Yeah, he's and that's the thing as well now, because it's like, okay, yeah, Kyle won the belt off him and he had a great match in Australia and he got to retain his belt and he got to put the best of 7 to bed with Mark, and it's like, okay, cool. It's like, I don't get what they're gonna do with Ciampa now. Does he just now become just part of the roster? Do you know, or like what are we doing?
I don't think they fully know. To be completely honest, based on how things have played out, I think he was intended to just be an open challenge guy who has a great match and loses to Mark Briscoe, and then he would figure out from there. I say that just purely based on everything that happened since, which would suggest to me the idea was that Kyle would beat Mark in Australia. I think the social media response and the live crowd response was so strong they changed that, because, to be completely frank, I knew Ciampa was popular, but some of the numbers that thing did on digital was like kind of unfathomable, to be honest. Like, just to be real, like, considering what he'd been doing in the couple of years prior, people were really excited. So I think they kind of said, okay, let's mess around with this, just play around with this, just flip it back and forth. I think he's still inevitably, hopefully exceeds this, but my gut feeling is he's still going to be a guy who loses great matches on TV, often. I know there's an appetite for him to do more, and I'm not saying he can't do more. That's my gut feeling. That's what he was signed to be. I think the TNT thing was let's roll with it. It'll be intriguing if he gets a chance to do like a program coming out of this now and do something interesting. I'll be honest, I'm totally happy with him as just like TV banger guy. I think he's very good at that. But he also can obviously do more than that. And it'll be interesting what the balance is for their usage of Ciampa for sure.
Yeah. I hope that this is just kind of a way to deter him and have him come in and get the big pop. And like you already know coming in, doing a debut, that he's going to get cheered. So let's get over the hump of him getting cheered to like put some obstacles in front of him so he can just be a straightforward heel moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hopefully they have an idea or come up with an idea very shortly for him, because you don't, now that he's dropped the belt, you don't want to kind of like squander the momentum that he, built up almost kind of out of nowhere, really. So, I'm a big fan of Ciampa, rooting for him, and of course Kyle, Mark, all of them. I really liked Moxley versus Takeshita, man. I love Mox. I like just seeing him do his thing out there. Goes to a time limit draw with Takeshita, and I think he did a good job of making Takeshita look, great out there, especially with like the closing moments of the time limit draw itself, and then obviously Mox fucking getting smoked after the match as well, and just getting left laying in the ring, And yeah, so when Takeshita first came out as well, I was also thinking kind of, and I guess that's probably why I had that take that I just said, like, because when Takeshita first came out, I was thinking, like, man, you could argue, that he's been heated up to a point where it was like, okay, let's go to the next level, and cooled back down twice now. Mm-hmm. So there's the Kenny feud, obviously. He fucking beat Kenny twice in a row, bro. It was crazy. And then, he kind of like settled. And it was like, oh, well, it felt like there was a bit of a missed opportunity there to take it to another level. And then the Okada stuff, like the tension with him and Okada building, like they really built that tension into something that the audience was really invested in at one point. And it felt like it was really close to the time to like, bang, pull that trigger. And they haven't done it. And it felt like kind of since then he's not cold. He's Takeshita. You go out there, he'll wrestle a great match. He'll fucking win everyone over again. He's that good in ring, But it did feel like he kind of settled a bit down again. I do think that match with Mox in Australia, even though he didn't win it, was quite helpful for him in this moment, Where it goes from here, and when they finally pick back up the tension with Okada properly again, hopefully the next time he gets heated up, if they actually, properly follow through with it. Because Takeshi's good enough, and hopefully they don't kind of get complacent because he is good enough to like, we can just kind of heat him up whenever because he's so good in ring, It's like you book Takeshi against some of your top stars who can go. It's like he's going to have match of the year contenders potentially, and the AEW audience is going to massively appreciate him for that. So he's quite, it's an interesting one, Takeshita. I wonder where he goes from here. Do you think he beats Mox with a belt? Do you think, like, what are we doing?
I don't know, really. It's been strange, and it kind of hurt the match. Oh, the match was pretty good, but it hurt for me in the sense that Moxley is already like a babyface with heel friends, and Takeshita is like a heel who is clearly turning babyface.
Yeah. It's weird.
So, like, they kind of had to... And the crowd, was weird. Moxley did a good job of pushing the crowd to go with Takeshita. I don't know. It's just... they really stalled the whole thing, as you kind of spoke to. And so as a result of that, you're kind of trying to figure out where the piece is going to land. Okada obviously still has his belt. Fletcher has a belt. You were kind of almost wondering, is Takeshita going to get a belt and it's going to be winner takes all situation with the Free Callis family, man? That was something that got thrown around on socials. And it intrigued me, but then there was a draw here, so I assume they're going to wrestle at Revolution. And they're a pairing I like. I don't always love this particular pairing, as great as they both are individually. There's times I've really liked it. There's times I've been not thrilled with it. This time was somewhere in the middle. I thought it was a good match. Moxley's effort can never be questioned. Takeshita's athleticism and firepower can never be questioned. I didn't think it was their most interesting match in terms of what they were trying to achieve. I thought the Continental Classic match was a lot more interesting with the, where Moxley kind of worked babyface, and I think it was in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. I think, that was a great match.
Well, that was a lot more intriguing. This, to me, was 20 minutes of bombs, which I'm more than happy to watch, and I didn't, have any issue with it, but it didn't leave me, desperate for another entry. These guys have wrestled quite a bit, I feel, which is fine, but I don't know, I'm not convinced by the current pacing of this Takeshita development. I think it's been pretty rough. Yeah.
It's like the heat. It's like the match was like, let's get a little bit of heat back on Takeshita, but then, like I was just saying, what the fuck for? What for? Where are we going? I don't know, Phil. I don't know.
It kind of feels like they're dragging the face turn out too long. I think that they should have. We should have pulled the trigger on the face turn by now. People clearly know it's coming, and I mean, I know AEW likes a slow burn, but I just feel like we should have probably just went ahead, capitalized on it by this point. And I have to assume that he's going to beat Mox. I have to assume that he's going to be Continental Champion, and that sets up the next match with Okada, because Okada wants to unify the belts again and bring back the unified belt. That is confusing. But I assume that's where this is going. I assume that this is leading to that matchup for a unified belt.
I would agree. But my question would then be, what are we waiting for? Why didn't he just win it in Australia, right? Which I think would be, I don't know.
My guess is just because of the distance between Revolution and now. I think they needed a big match for Revolution, and so that's probably where we get Mox Takeshita, and then we'll start to build to the Okada match after that.
And I guess the part of this, the kind of elephant in the room is, it will always matter to beat Kazuchika Okada, right? There's no, it's Okada, but they invested a lot of time in the idea of him as this kind of almost superhuman tournament wrestler, right? And this kind of this specialist of the big match, and Brian did such a great job adding color to his matches with the idea of the way he paces himself and the way he goes about his business in those big matches. And Moxley beat him in the final. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Moxley's beaten everyone in the promotion. He's one of the top guys in the whole promotion. But my point is, you have to also then, while you're doing this, the process Phil just described, you have to also, on the other side of that, you have to kind of retain some of the mystique around Okada, right? Because otherwise, you've spent 8 months building to a match where it kind of feels like a formality that Takeshita should win. And I don't know if that's how it would have landed if he'd have beat him in December, for example. I think Okada, there was more of a protection there. So there's elements to this that I think they've just kind of got in their own way, and they've got a little too cute with the pacing of it. All I know is by, in 2-3 months' time, I think the Don Callis family needs to look considerably different. I think we've been going in circles for too long, right? With will they, won't they? Who's on which side? I personally would like to see the Callis family be an Okada vehicle. I would like to see Fletcher break away and have his own group, and that'd be great for him as a talent to lead a group as a talent. And I would like to see Takeshita to be a babyface. Because to me, it's like Callis family could be Okada, Hechicero, a tag or two, and you're good, right? That would be perfectly fine. If they had 6 guys, that'd be fine. I promise none of them would complain. It would be fine.
Yeah, you could have...
Yeah, so that's where I'd like to see it go.
Yeah, the Don Callis family, I'd like to see some segregation, some splits, some because it's like even the Kyle and Okada stuff, there's a little, not necessarily tension, but there's something there,
definitely tension, yeah.
So you've got then obviously Okada's just a prick to everybody,
Right.
And it's like it's easy to just kind of play like someone just turning on Don as well because they just don't trust Don anymore or whatever, you know. Yeah, they just need to like actually get to it. They've got enough talent to kind of like. I think that idea that you said about Cole leading his own group as well is like perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah, because I want him to get a chance to get his own heat again. You know, that's been kind of lost and diluted. You know, so that I think that'd be great for him as a talent. He's still so young too. It'd be such a good challenge for him to lead a group and be the centerpiece. You know.
Yeah, it could really be the thing if successful that really is the vehicle that gets him to that world championship. Yeah. You know, like that could be what his step up looks like. Is, you know, leading his own version of whatever the group may be, you know, and who would be good with Kyle in that sort of group, you know. You could just pick from the Don Callis family, or you could kind of go a different route with it. Obviously, Davis and Doyle could potentially be that would obviously make sense for, you know, the Mark Davis element of it. I don't know, Robbie Eagles was on the house show, weren't he? On the AEW house show. Kyle has a lot of admiration, and, you know, they've got a lot of history, and Robbie helped train him and stuff like that. So,
yeah, I mean,
there's a million. Obviously, we could spend an hour picking what would Kyle Fletcher's potential group look like, you know. But
I think the best play is what you mentioned, which is you kind of do it almost New Japan style, where it's like the Callis family splits and half go with Fletcher. Would probably be what I would suggest. Because I don't know. I actually think the Callis Hechicero act is fucking awesome, and I'm not a big Don Callis guy, but I think that shtick is terrific. I think it would be a lot better though if it was like Hechicero was second or third on the totem pole and not, you know, 6th or 7th. So, and obviously I think it goes without saying Andrade's, you know, he needs to be.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Andrade shouldn't even have friends, bro. I mean, that guy should just be like fucking. He should just be on his own at all times, the coolest guy in the promotion. And it feels like people want to cheer him too, which makes it even easier to flip him into his own thing.
Yeah. The only thing, I think the only person I'd want to see Andrade would be like a good female manager, and not to like dig up the Zelina, like that fucking whole thing again, because people have been calling people. Like, it was a great act, but just I think aesthetically, just the idea of like Andrade with you know, a good, confident, strong female like character that can like do some talking and that with him because I love Andrade's like the way Andrade just says things, you know, like I wouldn't want to cut that out, but yeah, like Joe said, Andrade shouldn't have friends, bro. You know, he shouldn't have any friends.
Yeah, on the Andrade front, I am just going to outright say it. Andrade should have won that match. Andrade has all the momentum coming into this show. This is not a knock at Hangman. I think currently, like less than 2 months into 2026, Andrade has been one of the most exciting wrestlers to watch. Everywhere he goes, he's having fantastic matches. He's got the package together. He looks confident. This gimmick he's doing with the women in the crowd is incredible. Nah, he should have won. I don't know why they went with Hangman.
Yeah, I think he was the more exciting option. I agree. My only hope, Phil, is that I just hope when we do get to him and Max, we can look back and go, it was worth getting to this point. You know, it was worth waiting extra. If we get there and it feels not as hot as it would now, that would be a bummer. My hope
massively.
Is that they're going to handle the business we just discussed, and that Andrade is going to be spun off as the coolest babyface in the promotion, and he's going to wrestle Max in Mexico. At the remember last year they did Grand Slam at Arena Mexico?
Yes.
I would love to see. You know, if we wait and it gets to that point and he's a babyface, I'll be like, you know what? Fine. I'll wait an extra 3 months. If we get there and it's just a colder version of what we could have had, I'd be pretty bummed, to be honest. Because to Phil's point, LA would have happily just been like, yeah, Andrade's a babyface tonight. Fuck it.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully, it's I'd say probably more extreme example of like the Ciampa stuff, where it's like Ciampa was given this when he first came in, and now that he's dropped the belt, you're kind of wondering, okay, I hope they have something for him, you know. And Andrade is very similar. It's like he comes in, he beats Swerve, he beats Kenny. You know, he's like one of the hottest people in the promotion. Then, he loses to Hangman, which isn't a disgrace or anything, but it's just kind of like Joe said, hopefully it gets followed up and he don't just kind of get parked or whatever now. And by the time we do get to him, and hopefully this does come, that he has this world title match against Max, then, you know, it'll be worth the wait. But yeah, Andrade's he's a special talent, man. And obviously it's cool to see him kind of really get to stretch his legs in AEW in this run. Well, so far, hopefully they do have something for him. Hangman, as I said, I think it was last week or the week before, saying that, like, I think he's probably was like the coolest out of the 4 people in the Eliminator tournament, you know? Yeah. Kenny's Kenny. You know, he has a very special place in our hearts. It's Kenny. Him sticking his chest out and being like, yo, this is the best I've felt in years. It's like, oh my God. You know, it's like, Swerve's dynamic with Kenny was very interesting, and like the way that they would go back and forth. So like, there's that. And then Andrade, as we've just spoke about, you know, and then you've kind of got Hangman, who I don't think's cold. But out of those 4, you're against the 4 fucking, do you know what I mean? You're against the three of the, you know, most hottest people in the promotion at the moment. So Hangman to come out on top of all this, to Phil's point, yeah, I do think Andrade should have won. But, you know, and the Hangman thing's also interesting at the moment because the amount of fucking, like, conversation around him since the, obviously since the Marty incident, we'll call it. I'll be honest, bro. Like, I was actually surprised because, like, I was seeing a lot of people, and I had to screenshot it to make sure. You know, like sometimes you see one thing and you're like, oh, everyone's saying this, and it's like, no, I was genuinely seeing multiple tweets about Hangman after, like, on Saturday and even after Saturday, like, you know, I don't really care the same way about the stuff he does anymore. And it's crazy. Well, I'm looking at a tweet now. It's crazy that this just makes me feel nothing now. And it's like Hangman winning the match against Andrade, and it's like, if you do kind of comb through a lot of, like, because there is bad faith as always on wrestling Twitter, but like there is genuinely like a large portion of like Hangman's genuine supporters that are like properly let down by like the Marty thing and his explanation that he gave to John Alba about, was it? Yeah, it was John Alba, about it. And you know, it's not really gonna, I doubt it'll have that much effect live in the buildings and stuff, but it has been like, I guess, like a topic of conversation since him winning, because obviously he's the number 1 contender now and people are talking about how interested or not interested they are in him. And it's just I don't know, it's been weird. It's been kind of weird to watch unfold because it's Hangman, and Hangman for the longest, he was like the AEW diehards. Like, he was like their little baby, do you know what I mean? Like, he was the one, like, oh, Hangman just reposted this thing about this social message and da-da-da-da and this and that and this and that. And a lot of those people, like I said, there's a lot of bad faithers that you have to comb through, that people just jump on the Hangman like, oh, fuck Hangman, and whether they're CM Punk fans or whatever it may be, you know, or WWE fans or whatever the fuck, you know, or Logan Paul fans or whatever. There is genuine disappointment from some of his actual real, you know, fans, and it's been weird to see. I'm not used to seeing people talk about Hangman like this, Joe. It weirds me out a bit, you know?
Yeah, I just think...
And I understand it, but yeah.
Yeah, I just think that the Hangman fan base is they have a different connection to him, and it's a character, but it's blurred with reality. And I'm not here to comment or critique that, because I think people should engage wrestling however they want. I'm not here to do the thing about separate that. They can do whatever they want to. They're wrestling fans, you know? So... If it has affected their investment in the wrestler on screen, that sucks. And I think it's a shame people are let down and upset. It isn't something that's registered for me beyond, like, wrestling. Which, I'm sorry that's my response, but unfortunately that's my response.
It just is what it is.
Because what do you think, Phil? You go.
I think it's the 1-2 punch of people being disappointed with how his title reign ended and feeling like as good as the Double or Nothing win was, and like winning the belt at All In and feeling like, all right, we're finally back here. The company sees him in a way that we do. When he lost to Joe, it kind of brought a lot of people back down to earth of like, oh no, this is still, they're still making some of the same mistakes with him. Because I think this would have been so different. I said this on Grapsody yesterday. if Hangman won this match after Max beat him at World's End and Max cheated to beat him at World's End, there would be a different energy around feeling like Hangman deserves this match. But at this point, it feels like we've done this matchup multiple times, and it's not really an interesting enough way to get back to that match. And then on top of it, you have the Marty thing as well. So I think like at this point, the Hangman FC has like multiple mixed feelings with Hangman as a person and the way he's been utilized as a character. And it's just like, I don't know. I think it's contributed to why there's kind of an apathy from some people. And I mean, of course, like when you look at the reactions to him at the live shows, he's still very popular with the audience. I just think the online fandom is just different. The online fandom for Hangman is a different beast, and it has been for the past 3 years or so. People have just put this guy on such an unrealistic pedestal as well, and I never saw that ending well.
No, it's wrestling, isn't it? It never does. Like,
well,
you know, it's like what people did with Punk. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people were like, "Oh, CM Punk is this, he's that, he's this and that. He'll never go to WWE. He'll never wrestle in Saudi. He'll never do this. He'll never do that." And he just, he's a wrestler. Like, it's just,
But I also get. The thing is, I don't want to. I think it's clear we all are like kind of in that point of wrestlers do wrestler things, right? Which unfortunately, what we're describing falls under that category where it should or shouldn't. I think it's pretty fucking obvious, but I don't want to police people that feel. If people are bummed out, I don't want them to be like, "Wake up," Like, I get it, dude. It sucks, Like, I completely understand it. But one other factor, Phil was talking about his usage going into the whole thing. I also think the Swerve team was like it diminished Hangman's appeal. Because I think Swerve was like he was the thing, like the agitator thing that was making things interesting in that. Like when they were feuding with Max, it didn't, to me, Hangman was like a backup dancer in that thing, vibe-wise, the way he felt. So, yeah.
Okay, so I thought it was just me because after that segment and even after the match, Hangman versus Swerve feels like the money match.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't do.
I mean, well, Swerve versus Max feels like the money match.
Yeah, because I think we discussed this off the air. I knew where you were going. Yeah, that's I agree completely. I think the dynamic, whether people liked the promos or not, there was a certain edge to Max and Swerve that felt real.
Yes,
right. And Hangman was just kind of there, and we all know that's not a reflection of his talent. I mean, Hangman's an incredible talent, but I think you're right. I think. We kind of saw all these different matches we could get, and it was like more of the same. Now, here's what I'll say. I know this feud means a lot to both Max and Hangman. I know it's a dynamic that matters to them. I have no doubt that in one or two segments they can talk us into it. I also get the sense they're going to have a stipulation to play with, which is big, right? Like if they have a dog collar stipulation, that changes things because they're both going to bleed an awful lot. This was clearly the plan for some time. They've stuck to that plan. The question now is, can they make it? Can they prove themselves right for doing so? Or in 2-3 weeks, we're going to be going, man, they missed the hot hand with Andrade. They missed something with Swerve. They missed something with Omega. They should have gone sooner with Omega. I mean, there's clearly other matches ahead of Max. And I guess one of the biggest challenges this match is going to have is, can they convince the people that Hangman actually can win the belt back here? Because right now, I don't buy it at all. And even though my better judgment is going to tell me no the whole way, it's their job to convince me, right, on the TV show. Like, he's got a chance. I'm intrigued how they approach that. I'm intrigued on the stipulation. I'm intrigued as to what drama they can create. They had a great match at Revolution last year. Their Forbidden Door match was a lot weaker. I don't think there's any doubt in terms of what they can produce together, right? I think it goes without saying. But as to what we'll get, time will tell. I'm intrigued what they come up with because I think Max will know. Let's be real. Max sees a lot of posts. I think he's aware that he's going to need, they're going to need to do something to convince people on this. He sees it. Let's be real. Hello, Max.
It is. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hangman's it's a weird case at the moment. I'm not sure where he kind of goes from here. Even if they do kind of like build this Revolution match up a little bit. And, as we all expect, Max wins. It's like, where from there? Do you know what I mean? It's but yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the Swerve Hangman tag stuff as well because I thought like, that just That didn't work for me 1%, like at all, bro. I'll be honest. Now that the time has passed, I couldn't watch it, bro. It was like unwatchable. I couldn't watch it, bro. It was just like, yeah, it just felt just like it just felt crap. Like
you didn't like it. They were coming out with their matching leather jackets.
Yeah,
they had
through the crowd and that. I was like, what are we doing, bro?
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah,
go on.
I was just gonna say, I just think, if anything, because Swerve felt like he was coming off a return, so there was still interest in him, and so it didn't harm him as much as it did Hangman. But I do agree that it was just like, I don't really have any interest in them as a tag team long term. If you're just gonna do this for a few weeks, sure, but like, let's get back to like.
I want to say this, yeah. So I remember we was on a podcast, like, it might have been even like, it was like the peak of like Hangman and Swerve, and you get me, like fucking after like the cage match or some shit, yeah. It might have been like Charlie or one of the girls or Anna or someone, yeah, and they were talking about like, like next year or something when they eventually like tag together or someone makes a save from them. And I was like, no, like what are we doing, bro? Like them two fucking despise each other. Keep it that way at least for like the next 5 years. Like that, just have that as a thing, you know.
Insane victory lap.
So yeah, fuck them. All you people at the peak of Swerve and Hangman talking about when the tag team together one day, blah blah blah. That was always a shit idea, bro. Always.
Yeah.
And I'm right.
Good for you, bro. Yo. Dude said, fuck him. You hear it, Bill? The whole segment was just devised to tell us that Monty was right in September 2024.
Oh, God. You can't do it, Joe. It's a receipt business, you know?
Yeah.
Shooting on Charlie, who I don't even... Is she even watch wrestling anymore?
Chuck's always at the matches. She's always at the matches.
She's at the she watches the local circuit, you know? She's
I'll be joining her soon. I'm becoming a Rev Pro guy this year. I'm going to be joining Chuck.
Oh, God. You ain't got time to be all... You ain't got time for all these gimmicks, Joe.
I'm quitting the business becoming a Rev Pro guy. It's my plan of attack.
You don't have the time for it. There's no way you can become a TNA guy, an MWA power guy, a fucking...
I'm not becoming an NWA power guy. I'm watching him for 1 week for a show here. See, Phil, do you see what happens here, the way things get... I never once as an NWA power guy I said... I'm preparing for a show. I'm a professional, Montel. I'm a professional. But nonetheless, what's next on the docket?
What is next on the docket?
I don't know. What's on our format?
Hangman Andrade. Andrade should have won. Hangman Discourse.
Yep.
What else? Oh, yeah. Wheeler Yuta got his head shaved. Death Riders lost to Orange Cassidy and Tony Storm. And I don't think it was a spectacular match or anything, but it was fun, you know.
Right.
I love Tony Storm, bro. She's genuinely one of my favourite wrestlers. It's got to that point, which is funny because, you know, a lot of us, you know, when she first came across with the gimmick and she was kind of like finding how to like, make it work in ring, it was... Wait, my laptop's making noises and I don't know why. Right. But yeah, shout out Tony Storm. Am I right, Joe?
Yeah, she's awesome, dude. This was fun, as you said. Crowd liked it. You had a lot of heat. The highlight to me, the headline to me, is we have more evidence that professional wrestlers would make for the worst barbers in the history of Earth. I mean, just the... Mina Shirakawa has got many, very many gifts, but a barber not one of them. And did you see what she was doing to Yuta's hair in this deal? Good God almighty. Just
Luther got in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was just craziness. Poor fella looked like he was in agony, but he left it with a hilarious look. Always like a good hair match on a big show is always good. Always good value for all the family. That was good fun. I like that, definitely.
Yeah, very fun match. I loved that it was actually intergender wrestling. It wasn't like them playing around with the concept of a mixed tag match and not having the men and women interact.
Tony pinned Wheeler.
Yeah, Tony looked like a big, massive star again here. She was a lot of fun. None of the Tony and Orange Cassidy stuff came off too hokey. It was just enough. And Wheeler Yuta was really the MVP of this match as the heel. Like he got the most heat out of this. He got like the most out of like this whole stipulation coming into the match, and the comeuppance for him worked out.
Yeah, so Wheeler, man, he's for the love of the game. You gotta respect it. He's walking around bald-headed now. They did the house show the day after, and he was wearing like a bald cap, and he was like covering his head, and he was giving. You've got to when you've just had it shaved as well.
Yeah, great stuff, man.
I'd look. We haven't actually seen his bald head yet, have we? I don't know if it was revealed during that house show match that I just mentioned, but I wonder if he has just shaved it all bald now, or if he has just left it the mess that it was left in. Do you know what I mean? Just as part of the gimmick for a couple of weeks. But yeah, it was a fun time. Yep. Wheeler got his head shaved, and yeah, Tony Storm in Australia, bro. Like fuck, It's just what can you say? She's the best, So yeah, MJF, Brody King. The main event, obviously a lot of talk around it. AEW getting, mainstream news coverage, CNN and all the rest talking about the fuck Irish chants, and AEW is now the left wing promotion. And,
oh boy!
But yeah, man, and there was like talk, is there going to be fuck Irish chants during this match and stuff like that, even though it's in Australia, and yeah, there was, and they kept him in on the broadcast, and yeah, man, Brody King, MJF, they had a main event out in Australia. I thought it was pretty good, but I thought also, how do I say this? Brody King is very good, but I think sometimes when you see him in these sort of positions, you can kind of see why it may not click perfectly if he was to get elevated to the next level, I didn't think this was like the biggest match of his career, and I didn't think he imposed himself much on it, if that makes sense. As much as I don't know, I'm botching the fuck out of how I'm trying to articulate this, but the match was pretty good. I was just hoping to see more from. I was hoping to see like more of a statement performance from Brody, Yeah, and obviously, we don't know what sort of how they worked out the match, what had to be included, what didn't have to be included, or how deep and detailed they got into the planning of the match. But yeah, Joe, I just thought there was something missing. Missing.
Brody was tasked with doing some different things here. He sold a lot, and it was a long match. I think they went over 20 minutes. I thought he sold really well. I'm not convinced with him as a main event singles, but less because of this match and more just broadly. I'm not convinced on this roster that's where he falls. I think he's very, very talented, but I'm not sure that's where he falls. But I thought his selling was terrific. I kind of sympathise with him because I think this was anyone who's been to an AEW TV special knows, like, this is that point in the show where the people start to fatigue, and they just saw it. They'd seen a lot of stuff. And I thought the match was pretty good, but it was a match that would have benefited from, like, a level of heat that this crowd didn't have left in them. They'd literally seen a time limit draw, a hair match, a ladder match.
The fuck Irish chance was the last hurrah from them.
And they liked the match. Like, let me be clear, they liked the match. They didn't think the match sucked. They liked it. They just wasn't. With the way that Brody was tasked with selling, you wanted him to be more like up, so they could have really brought some fire out of him. And I think as a result, the match kind of stayed like this pace wise. I thought it was still well put together and had a lot of nice touches in terms of structure and idea. I mean, I thought the work on Brody's leg, and again, I thought his selling was terrific. I don't think it came together as well as it would have as the opening match, I'll put it that way. I think there probably would have been something to be said for opening with this, putting the ladder match last, and putting Moxley and Takeshita somewhere in the middle.
I think the ladder match would have suffered quite a bit as well, though, even though it was a serious. You could have put Tony on that. I think they could have put Tony on that.
The ladder match they had the stunts, though, and the boom bumps and the craziness. This didn't have. This was a wrestling match, and I say that not to be insulting to the other match, but it's true. Like, it was, they did limb work and like just wrestled a main event pace, and Max did a little bit of Zabisco and was stalling, and I still like some of it. I mean, Max's facial expression when he realized Brody was behind him on the apron was terrific. So yeah, the good stuff in here I was pretty good. I have my doubts about Brody's main event singles, but they're more for kind of in a bigger picture way than this particular match. I thought he did a good job. I think it was just asking him to do things that he's probably less experienced in. He's when he does singles matches, they're generally those C2 matches where it's a lot of just like clobbering, right? Like physicality, almost like a G1 undercard match. This wasn't that. This was a main event title match, and I think you saw his inexperience in that setting a little bit for sure.
Yeah, definitely worded it a lot better than myself. But yeah, MJF obviously he's had a very strong kind of start to his reign. Like even his Brody stuff, do you know what I mean? Like he kind of like caught fire in the past week for reasons in or outside of wrestling, whatever, you know. But this definitely helped Brody, you know. This has definitely been worthwhile for Brody King. And obviously we had like the 4-way elimination mini tournament thing that Hangman eventually won, but it's like so far so good for Max's reign. The Hangman match, as Joe said, kind of the issue with it really is really trying to get the audience to buy into the idea that Hangman can actually win this match and kind of give it a bit more juice. Like it'll have juice anyway, it's MJF and Hangman, you know, but give it something to really get your teeth into. Then from there, so where do the pieces fall with Kenny, Andrade, Swerve, and obviously, you know, you got to think like, how does all this play out before Ospreay comes back in what we hope is in the next 6 months?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
So I think they're kind of like they've got some good problems to have when you know. Of like trying to figure out what order or how and who turns on who and you know what I mean, and do all that sort of shit and kind of story out. Then you know the next 6 months of AEW at the top of the top titles. So, yeah, man. In other news, Ronda Rousey. Actually, no. Whoa. Back it up. Slow down. Also, AEW Australia related. The Iconics debuted, the Inspiration as they're called these days.
Yeah.
The Inspiration debuted. They are all elite. Apparently, they've been signed upwards of like a month. I think it was Fight for Select that put that out. So yeah, the Iconics, the Inspiration. Sorry again. They are all elite, and I always liked them in WWE, man. I didn't really keep much up to date with them in TNA, but I always thought they were like good TV characters. I'm not sure how much of a great fit they'll be in AEW. Yeah, I always remember them winning the tag titles at Mania, and thought that it was like a top tier, like good for them moment, you know. So yeah, I've got time for them. I'm just not sure how they click here, but I've got time for them to see how it plays out. But kind of an interesting signing, isn't it? The Inspiration in AEW.
A little bit, yeah. Phil, you got anything on this?
I like the Iconics / Inspirations. Yeah. I don't know who they have to pay at this point because Iconics is just a better name. Yeah. Whoever is over there, like just trying to be petty and not letting them use this name. I just don't know what we're doing. Just let them be the Iconics. But I like them in WWE. I didn't keep up with a lot of their stuff in TNA, but I always felt like they kind of got the short end of the stick towards the end of their WWE run. I thought that they were a good tag team in a developing tag division that wasn't allowed to be a tag team. And it never made sense to me. You tried to make them into a singles act, and you needed tag teams. And you're in the same situation with AEW right now where you need established tag teams. And so it makes sense to bring in a team that is specifically a tag team. They're not a thrown together tag team. You're going to need teams like that to develop this division.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And talking of developing the division, they Lana Cross came back. It wasn't a debut. She was wrestled in AEW before, but she kind of was reintroduced as kind of a part of the Megan Bain, Penelope Ford kind of, it's a trio now, Mega Bad. I still can't go over that though, but Mega Bad. And, man, she's tall, and I don't know too much about her, to be honest. She's not really somebody that I follow too much, so I'm not gonna pretend.
She was very, very promising. I got to review a couple of her matches for when we used to do the match review show on Gold. She was very good. I think this eventually leads to her and Megan working with each other, and Megan being a babyface, was my guess. But I mean, the big, people talk about this on socials, and I apologize to repeat a take like that on here, but the announcing on this was fucking like as bad as it gets, dude. Respectfully, I mean, the Call of Lana Cross debut or whatever we want to call it, reboot, was like, it doesn't get any worse than this. It was literally like us doing it on a podcast, on a grin along, being like,
I think we could have done probably a better job.
Yeah, it was like that. It was just brutal. But she looks amazing, and she looks incredible with Megan and Penelope, so she can make up for that in quick time, and she can go. So she's a great pickup. As for the inspiration, the big thing with them in TNA that was kind of weird was their personalities kind of got lost. Like, they kind of just had, like, matches in TNA, which is, I mean...
That's such a weird usage of them.
It is. So, I'm intrigued how Tony features them, because I think we all know what their, like, strengths and weaknesses are. I don't think you need to be... a genius to figure that one out. So I'm intrigued. They should do some fun stuff with Harley and personality pieces. I don't think they need to have 12-minute matches very often. But if you use them as a personality and people, a team that people recognize and see as a team... I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It all depends on usage, I think. So, two very different additions to the division. I think Cross will be a player for sure, though. Yeah.
How old is Lana Cross? You've got any idea?
I have no idea. I wouldn't like to assume that would be rude.
Cage match.
Yeah. I think the exciting thing about putting her with Megan and Penelope, though, is like, all right, then. Because I've been saying for the longest, Penelope stands out. She has a presence. It's not Penelope. Sorry, Megan stands out. She has a presence. And if you're not using her as a singles wrestler, I don't know why at this point, because she's just so dynamic and so interesting. You've got to get her back into either the world title picture or in contention for the TBS title at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a matter of when, right? I agree with you. I think that has to be where they're going. I think the babyface thing will happen, right or wrong. Whether it's the correct call or not, time will tell. But I think the reason for that is the challenge with Megan is going to be she has a heel frame and that she's bigger than almost everyone in the division, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she has babyface offense, right? She has incredible. You talk about dynamic. I mean, athletically explosive, all the great stuff she can do in the ring. So it'll be interesting how they kind of navigate that. To the piece of this we haven't spoken about is Penelope Ford, who is quietly like one of their best like actual role players, right? Like
so underrated.
Yes, because
so
most
underrated.
people that are used as role players aren't actually role players. They're just slotted as such because the roster's so big. Penelope is an honest-to-God role player. Like, she'll do whatever it takes to ensure that Megan looks even more beast than she already does in every tag match they have. She's awesome, dude. So, props to her too.
100%. Lana Cross is 30 years old and is a 80-year pro. Made the debut in May 2017. I
saw her work with Megan on I can't remember what indie it was, but I reviewed one of those matches with something else. And yeah, she knows her game as a wrestler. She obviously pops visually, so it'd be interesting how she's featured. I presume very prominently. They've got some serious talent in that division, right? I think right now the belts are all bunched up together. So I'm intrigued to see how Tekla's reign goes. I was big on that Tekla Statlander match. I know we talked about it on Friday, Monty. I don't know if we got into it much, but I thought the match was great. It struck me how good it was, because I didn't see a ton of talk about the match. I saw more talk about the result. I thought they killed it, man. I really did. So,
So Stat has had pretty great matches throughout her title reign, didn't she? And for her to drop it in a strap match, he definitely delivered. Delivered. Thekla has like a unique European charisma about her and the way that she does and says things. It pops me. And like you said, Joe, a lot of the conversation coming out of that was more about the result, because it was a big result, do you know what I mean? We got a new world champion, so understandably, especially with it being kind of like the week that Kris was kind of like opening up on one of the podcasts about kind of how she feels about her current position and stuff like that, and her current kind of most recent work. And obviously, we won't open that kind of can of worms again. But the match itself, Thekla's been very strong in AEW. And Statlander it's kind of what she does, isn't it? Big match Stat, Stats one that I do like some of the other people that we've mentioned, Andrade, Ciampa, Stat dropped it. We always do this with AEW though, don't we? It's the then what, it's like Stats dropped the belt. Not particularly sure if that's what I would have chosen to do, but like I said, we won't get into that can of worms again. But it's like, now what do you do with her? Like, where does she go from here?
Yeah. Well, it's one or two. Look,
it seems like they're going to do the rematch, but
but this should be an opportunity, right? In the sense that Stat's clearly not particularly thrilled with her presentation or her persona or characterization. She doesn't feel very confident in it. It seems to me. So this should be an opportunity to start fresh in that way. If she's going to take these big losses, that is, you're breaking the character down to ideally build it back up. Obviously, the key is that you do the second part of that equation.
Correct. The important part. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. That's the hardest part for Stat. Athletically, the performance comes to her really easily. She's fucking terrific, but it's just getting her personality across. And do they try her as a heel again? What is the babyface slant they want to go with? I think the big question to answer is, like, what does the Willow Nightingale dynamic look like to them? Like, what do they want that to be? Do they want her to be resentful of Willow again, or do they want them to be friends forever? Like, what is... Because that's something they never really fixed, did they, really? After the feud, they kind of just... Yeah.
It's like, this ain't working.
Right, exactly. So, that, I think, is a big X factor, because to me anyway, and I think you guys both agree, Kris and Willow are two of the, main 4-5 pieces in the division, if not, higher. So, that's something for them to figure out for sure. And, it should be what I'd like to think Statlander has a lot of control over it, because at this point, you may as well go by what she feels is right, I think. You've tried so many different versions.
It's about getting her comfortable, isn't it, Stat?
It is, yeah.
It's like when she comes through, I think, like, when she first won the belt, and you could tell that she was kind of like riding a bit of like a mental high. Do you know what I mean? Of like, and you could see like confidence starting to kind of come out in the promos and stuff, and it's because she's comfortable, confident, etc., etc., etc. So yeah, Joe's right. I think you need to kind of like sit down. What does she want to do? What does she think will have her come across the most authentic? And that, because I think that's been like the biggest issue with Stat, whether she's trying to be the top girl champion, whether she's trying to be the cosmic killer or whatever, whether she's trying to be this or that, or whether she's with the what was the group? What was like the Orange Cassidy group with Wheeler and then, what were they called? No, the one before.
Best Friends.
The best friend. Like before the best friend, like. The problem's always been trying to find that note where she feels like a real person, to be honest, Yeah. Because like in like the late 2010s when people would cut promos in WWE, and it was like, this is scripted, It's like sometimes you get that vibe off Stat a lot. So
for sure.
It's just find. Sometimes you just got to find the right gimmick character, certain edge.
I think she fits perfectly in like that, like Lita Soul Ruka vibe of just being a quirky, athletic, badass girl, and you don't need to put all of the rest of this like over the top pro wrestling gimmicks around it. I think she's just a quirky, likable girl, and that's the way to push her. I think people will connect with that because it's worked with so many other wrestlers. And I think when people are like, oh, well, she needs to be a heel and she needs to be a killer, I think at that point she's still playing a pro wrestling character. And I think when people can sense that, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree. I think sometimes there is an attempt to put everyone in like a pro wrestling box.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe she should just be Kris,
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, like she's kind of, as you said, kind of quirky, a little bit odd, amazing athlete, kicks ass, and I mean, I'm fine with that, absolutely, yeah.
It's even to go back to kind of like the interview that she did that week. It's like, I think she comes across as a very like well-rounded person, and to the point of like just be Kris. It's like, I think that can work because she has enough kind of like, I guess, like credit with the AEW audience. Like we've seen her have countless great matches on pay-per-views, on TVs, blah blah blah. Like, she's always going to have like some admiration with the AEW audience. So she just wanted to just be Stat. I think the audience would be quite accepting of that, to be honest. So yeah, She don't need to cut like promos, just be stat, innit? I think
that might mean that she's never the one seed in the division, but that's also fine. The division needs to get to a point where it's a good spot to be 3 or 4, right? Like, not everyone's going to be Toni Storm. But I think that's one of the issues with the way the women are often, this is their corner of the show. As a result of that, it feels like if you're not number 1, you're kind of like really just way behind, right? Which isn't the way with the men at all. So that would also, it would help if the division had like depth in terms of hierarchy, which, I mean...
real hierarchy and structure to the division would help massively, because if we was to sit down for 20 minutes and be like, how would we ideally structure that division? It's like, you have really great pieces to develop a real structure. Like we was just talking about Penelope Ford, a genuine role player. If you're going to build out a structured division, you need people like that, and they have them, bro. Someone just needs to sit down and do it, But that's obviously, like I said, that could be a conversation for another day. Another quick thing before we wrap up as well. Bianca Belair announced on Instagram, I think it was yesterday, that she was getting a surgery, and then she posted today talking about getting physiotherapy at 7 a.m. So. Yeah, man, Bianca Belair been out, how long has she been out now? We're coming up on like
almost
10
a year.
months. Yeah, 10 months. It'll be a year at Mania.
Yeah.
And, only just getting finger surgery, which obviously indicates that it was not healing the way that it was expected to or was supposed to over these past 10 months. And who knows how long this recovery will be. Maybe now that she's got this surgery, it'll be just kind of healing like a normal finger injury, and she might only be out for another 6 more weeks or anything. But am I
misremembering, or didn't she say because of the way that the break happened that she was going to need more than one procedure? And that's what I assumed. I assumed this is like not the first.
So I thought the
first one she posted about.
Yeah.
But I couldn't figure out if that was a thing that I had just made up in my mind.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is this like a Mandela effect, and I just assumed that? I don't know.
I don't know. I can't. Maybe we got a report about like she's headed to surgery, and then we just kind of in our minds register. I don't know. But either way, I mean, it's been fucking crazy.
It's been bizarre, hasn't it, man? It's a shame.
You would miss a talent of Bianca Belair's caliber at any time. In the time that she's been gone, what SmackDown's division has been has made her absence feel like even more extreme. Like it's They need her so bad, dude. so bad. But yeah, obviously best wishes and such.
Yeah, she also put out that Instagram post on February 14th that got the certain speculation going again. I don't know if you guys saw it, but
I did not see that. No.
So there's been the pictures of Montez at the live show, and it looks like Montez has been, he's been at home.
Living good. Yeah.
He's been living good. And so she put out the Instagram post that was like, sorry for the wait, spelled wait. And then she was like, I mean, wait. And it's like Montez with his stomach out, but she very specifically is not showing her stomach. And people keep pointing to that and go, she pregnant? Is she trying to get pregnant? And I don't know if that's the case, but that has been a speculation around a lot of this.
That's one of the things that obviously was one of the things that has popped into my mind when thinking about Bianca over this past year. Of like, because I believe somebody obviously will correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she has spoke about being like open and wanting kids with Montez one day, and it's like, wrestling is such a weird business where you blink and next thing you know you're 40 and you still haven't had kids or something. Do you know what I mean? Whereas like with Bianca, this injury almost seemed like it could have. Obviously, we don't know these people personally and what their private, very personal goals are in their like lives together and stuff, But this did kind of seem if she was going to be out for a sustainable amount of time just with a finger injury, it could have been an opportunity. If it was like my girlfriend or something, I'd be like, this is an opportunity for us to potentially, get to work,
She's talked about it before, so, I don't want to, of course, talk about people's personal life in that way, but she has talked about it before, and I don't know. There's a lot about this finger injury that's still very unclear. This is a long time to be out with that kind of injury. So yeah, hopefully she's got good news for us soon, whether it be an update on the injury and a return or something else. Because I'm like, man, It's been a wild 10 months.
Basically, Bianca, we want you to either come back as soon as possible, happy and healthy, or be pregnant. so that's, we're just wishing positive, beautiful things in the life of Bianca Belair and Montez Ford, So yeah, shout out then everybody. Two of the most likeable people in wrestling. Outside of obviously being absurdly talented, both of them. All right, this is what I nearly brought up earlier. Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano is happening in May on Netflix. What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know. I got nothing on this. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, when Ronda was on top of the MMA world, there was talk about Gina coming back to fight her. Most people with working brains responded to that with, why bother? That seems stupid. It now is going to happen in 2026, which is great. I don't know. Here's what I'll say. Netflix being an MMA game actually does intrigue me because it's just like money in the space that's like, it could be interesting in the long term. As for this particular fight, it's obviously a freak show. Gina hasn't fought in 16 years? 17 years. 17 years.
Gina's been busy with other things,
I've noticed, yeah. She's fought in like 16 years, and 17 years. Ronda hasn't fought in a decade. Ronda spoke about having like
you've been a decade already.
Yeah. She spoke extensively about neurological issues. So yeah, it seems like a great idea for all involved.
This could be a very real possibility as well. They're gonna have WWE promoting it. What do you think? WWE isn't gonna tell Netflix no. You know what I mean?
Right, but do the TKO folk fuck with Jake Paul's league? Because they're doing their own boxing thing now. How does that work? What's the policy?
Yeah, but when's that starting, mate?
It started, bro. No one's watching it. It started.
It started.
I'm not a bit. They're like 2 shows in already.
Who they got? So is it
big names,
so what is
like
it?
Charles Martin, guys like that. It's just like right now it's not big, but they've signed Jaya Patai, who's a big name in boxing. He's big, not a big celebrity. Okay. They're in motion. They've got a TV deal and everything.
God bless them.
See, I don't know. I presume Ronda's obviously beyond wash, but I presume she has enough left to beat Gina Carano. Fresh out of her Instagram stories,
Yeah.
See?
Fresh off lawsuits and all that jazz.
Fresh off a fumbling Mandalorian bag.
Yeah.
I don't understand who this fight is for at all. I just don't know who this is for. I don't know what is the intended audience for this, but I guess it's there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good point actually, because like, how many fight fans know who Gina is at this point?
Yeah, so it's just real throwback, bro. Well, a lot of these new MMA fans didn't even watch like Ronda live at her peak. Never mind Gina Carano, bro. Like it's mad. Ryan Sacchini didn't Gina win the law? But she settled.
Yeah, she settled.
So
I think.
They're definitely they're settled. I remember, but yeah, man, 2 interesting ladies.
Oh yeah, very interesting. Good word.
Yeah,
interesting.
Having a very uninteresting fight on Netflix.
I still think about just like what would have been if that second Ronda Rousey run with WWE did not end up the way that it did, because like you gotta assume, like with everything going right now with WWE and the merger and like TKO, like she would be like a pretty big deal over there. And they would love to have her right now. This could have been like a slam dunk for them. And it's still really kind of baffling that it ended in such a colossal collapse. I just don't know.
Genuinely.
She's an interesting lady as well, isn't she? So,
I'm never, ever the guy who's like, this is legacy damaging. Because as wrestling fans, we're pretty forgiving, right? We forget really bad things often, wrestlers do, because we like them. The second Ronda run is like legitimately legacy damaging shit.
Yeah, it was bad.
Like, wrestling fans now hear Ronda's name and like sigh, like just people are so dismissive of Ronda in wrestling now, and it's crazy because she actually was like a major deal in her first run. Like, she had good matches too.
Yeah.
And she was a major star, obviously. She was huge for the division that first run. And the second run was so bad that if you bring her name up among wrestling fans now, people are like, fuck that, dude. Ronda sucks. It's just... It's honestly it's unlike most things like that. We just kind of recall the good stuff. In that case, we do the opposite. We purely focus on how bad it was the second time around. And it was really, really bad.
Yeah. The first Ronda run was amazing.
Especially the first, 8 months of it. Once the crowd starts going with Becky, you can tell it fucks her up a little bit mentally, and she starts getting frustrated with the crowds. But when she's a babyface and she's working with Charlotte and Sasha and shit like that stuff's great, and she's in good matches with Nia. Like, those matches are good. So, But no one remembers any of it because they just remember that Shayna Baszler match that's still going on in SummerSlam.
I think Raquel is the only person in that second year that had some decent matches with her.
Yeah.
But
which is crazy.
Yeah, like the Liv feud and there was a lot of stuff in that second year that was not good. That was possibly the worst Rumble I've ever seen. Her return as well.
Oh, that was crazy, dude. Do you remember the vibes of her in that Rumble?
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
That was a crazy night, dude.
It was. The sign kept catching on fire, and we were right under the sign. I was like, yeah, this is it. This is it for me. This is how I wrap up my life as a wrestling fan.
Yeah. I thought the way that she kind of was clearly that she wanted to do some shit, get some shit off with Shayna Baszler before bouncing. And then they allowed her to do that and have fucking the longest matches ever. Then she fucks off and then goes on every podcast she can to just be like, yeah, fuck them. Fuck them all. And it's just but it's like she was fucking treated poorly over there from what we know. Obviously, on the outside, we don't know the details of how she was spoken to and what
there's definitely things she says about the culture there that I absolutely believe, no question.
Oh yeah, obviously.
There's also the reality is we don't know her, but she's not a particularly endearing person in the public eye, right? That'd be fair to say, fellas. She's not. You don't listen to her on the talk and go, "Man, what a likable, charming character."
Been a weird issue of hers for the past forever, isn't it?
15 years.
It was okay when it was almost part of her charm when she was, the undefeated killer of women. Do you know what I mean? Because she was just you know what I mean? She could get away with being a prick, or whatever, whereas obviously when that law was completely smashed to pieces by Holly Holm and Amanda Nunes and her crying on TV and and she kind of lost that aura around her. It's that those elements of her character of her being a bit of a prick and saying things that whatever, she can't get that off now, whereas before, like I said, it was almost kind of it worked in her favor, when she wouldn't shake hands with the women at face-offs and stuff like that, and whereas now she did shit like that, it's what the fuck, bro, just fucking get over yourself. But yeah, she's fighting Gina Carano. Like I said, two interesting ladies having a very uninteresting fight, most probably. Would be hilarious if they had an absolute fucking barn burn. they have a bloodbath like Gaethje. Fucking. That would be the funniest outcome because it's just two fight. If anyone who's watched their fights, that's just not how that would go. But a couple of super chats and let's wrap up. John Manor 10-1. 199. Basically, there is one big match at Mania this year. But it's honestly kind of what it started to feel like, isn't it? You got Roman and Punk. Yeah, that's it. Do you know what I mean? In terms of real, I'm gonna buy a ticket. I'm gonna buy a plane ticket and fucking, go to Mania.
It should be Rhea EO. That should be the other big match we're doing. I don't know why we're not doing that match at this point, but there we are. I don't know.
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe you can get both of them in the chamber. That's still on the cards. EO's are qualifying matches next week. Maybe you could, I don't know, pivot or whatever you want to fucking call it, because I don't have any fucking plans anyway. You could, I don't know, you could start EO and Rhea from the chamber, but I doubt it.
feels like they're going into Mania as a tag team, which I think is a mistake.
Yeah, I agree. Ryan Cicchini, 279 Canadian. Appreciate you as always. Enjoy the dynamic, gents. Appreciate the content. Appreciate you tuning in, brother. Always supporting. You've been here for a while, brother. Massively appreciate you. And you say again, coping and thinking it's old therapy footage. This is talking about Bianca's story from this morning. I mean, I'd love that. Do you know what I mean? I'd love it if she was just fucking working us and we're all stupid marks and she fucking shows up on Raw next week, you know? Well, that's what I want. I'd love that. But, you know.
Like, when would... To show up in, like, the chamber?
I don't care. I just want her back, bro.
No, I hit it. Like, what? Fair enough,
I mean, at this point, there is no other interesting Jade match on the table. Like,
Certainly
if she showed
not,
up,
no.
if she showed up and did like the stare down with Jade in a few weeks, that's like that's big. But
right, but the problem is what do you do with the chamber winner? Oh, it's fine. It doesn't mean you're right. Fuck it. Just do that instead. It's fine. Who cares?
Well, Matt, how do you
the
feel
alternatives are not interesting enough.
No. How do you feel about Rhea versus Jade? They had like a stare down on Friday, I think it was.
I think Rhea's got to do something with EO, regardless of like. Because then what does EO do? You know, like, I kind of think the actual play is like EO wins the chamber and Rhea, they lose the tag titles and Rhea kind of realizes she has to force herself into the Mania spot, so she has to beat Jade in March to get the match with EO as champion. You know, like the walls are closing in, that kind of idea. Because all of the Jade matches, if Bianca's not around, are just like, the Tiffany Stratton match has been done. The Charlotte match, I think, would be a major, major mistake in a range of ways we don't need to get into. So I'd rather do something where it's like, it comes down to EO and Rhea. EO beats her again. They lose the tag titles because EO's focusing on Mania, and Rhea realizes, I have to force my way into this title scene, take Jade's belt to get this match for Mania with EO, and where I can finally beat her at Mania. And here's the thing, you have the time, right? 'Cause you have 2 months. Like, it's more than enough time. And obviously, look, Jade would force themselves like that, and I get that, but it's not even about Jade so much as it is who Jade has to work with. Like, it's just...
Yeah.
And people talk about
because
multi-women,
if you make it just about Jade, and Jade just wrestles fucking...
Right.
Tiffany Stratton at Mania, then it's like, that does nothing for Jade. It may even hurt her, you know?
But that's what I'm saying. I think if Bianca comes back and...
Yeah, then you.
Oh yeah, of course.
If Bianca comes back and you're doing this Rhea match that you're talking about, where Rhea feels like she has to win the title to get her match at WrestleMania, and Bianca's music hits during that match, and that's how we separate and get those 2 matches out of it. I think that's really good.
Yeah, I like that. And then in the tag front, you would still have Bayley and Lyra, Kabuki, Charlotte and Alexa as major teams. So the tag belts wouldn't just disappear. Right, you could still.
Oh yeah,
it feels to me, it feels to me like Bayley and Lyra have to win the straps at Mania. I mean, they're beating them like a drum. They've got to get some kind of rebound here. So,
yeah.
So that's the way I see it personally. I mean, I personally think if one of the nights of Mania open with Kabuki, Charlotte, Alexa, Bayley and Lyra won the tag, I think that'd be a genuinely cool way to start WrestleMania, personally. And then you still have Rhea and EO as singles. So, yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they figure it out. Because I'm worried it kind of floats along rather boringly. And, nobody really gets anything out of Mania season, which is meant to be the time where wrestlers, elevate and X, Y, and Z. Nearly missed a super chat. I don't know why it doesn't start these first ones. But GMB 199, Trick getting Roman/Rhea pops, bro. He smoked Sammy. Listen, Trick's like I said, I've said for ages, even when people would push back, that I thought Trick would be like a success on the main roster and a success in this business generally. But and I knew that people would take to him and would like him, and like I've always said, he's one of the most likable people in wrestling. Because he's so charismatic, he's so funny, he's obviously got a great look and all these things. I think his in-ring is at a decent enough level to get away with it on the main roster and stuff, And but I wasn't expecting this level this quickly, Obviously, having the whoop that trick and as part of his entrance, it becomes like part of the thing. And we all know the WWE audience loves to just be engaged in some way, be a part of the show in some way. They'll chant fucking anything, you know. It's it's like I think it was like Raw last week when they had Dom and Liv out there with the chicken nuggets, and it's like when Dom was trying to when Dom was trying to talk when they were cutting the bullshit promo on the way to the ring. The crowd was booing the fuck out of Dom because it's the haha we boo Dom wink wink sort of vibe, and they were booing the fuck out of him, not letting him speak. Then as soon as the women start wrestling the match, bro, they start chanting dirty, dirty Dom. Yeah. Like he's a fucking, and it's like, bro, they just want to chant stuff. Like it's not because they hate or love Dom. They just want to chant things, you know.
Yeah.
So like maybe there is a little element of that with Trick, you know, and that's why it's so loud when he comes out, because everyone knows when his music hits, it's time to do the whoop that trick. Same with like the J and the yeeting and stuff. Like people enjoy doing that. But yeah, like even when he's cutting his promos, like the crowd's into it, the pop for it, like they all do the lemon pepper steppers thing with him. They all, do you know what I mean? Like and obviously he can handle the positions he's been put in. It doesn't matter if he's standing across from Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, or any of the other top stars. It's like he fits, you know. He's just it's been really great from him on like a personal level, I think. Like yeah, he's been booked pretty well and he's had opportunities to showcase himself, but it's just kind of like how naturally he feels like a star, you know. He's yeah, like GMP said, he's getting Roman rear pops at the moment, and hopefully they can actually channel it into something, you know, as we spoke about earlier. So, Kuzu said he's been killing Sammy. Mr. Can't get it done.
Yeah, poor Sammy. I feel like last year it felt like there was a real chance he was actually going to be a world champion. I don't know how we get here at that point. I don't know, man. It feels like it's so far off now.
It does.
But yeah, Ryan Tricker does have a gift with words. He does have a gift with words, definitely. The last time I felt like somebody came along and had the gift of the gab, like him, was probably MJF, to be honest. Yeah. You know, like just the way that like he can just fucking head top stuff, bro. Like he can just, he's just, yeah. Some people are just, you know. He's got his own rap songs, you know. What's that? What was that song that he put out, bro? Like "Good Looking Wrestler" or something. Like, what was it, bro? Oh, it's funny though. But shout out Trick, got enough time for him. And yeah, Phil, you did Grapsody yesterday. You say?
I did, because co-host Reg was in LA for the GCW show on Saturday. Had some other traveling to do, so
oh shit,
we ended up doing it on Monday.
Okay. Well, people, Grapsody, it was on Monday this past week. Are you doing it again Friday then?
Yeah, we'll be back on Saturday.
Sorry.
At our usual time slot.
Okay, so that's Grapsody. Make sure you go subscribe, follow them on all the socials and stuff like that. Phil and Reg. Joe. Late Night Grin, we spoke briefly at the top of the show about your weird weekend, your love and commitment to this business. But run the people down what you got planned this week and what you got coming out on the LNG channel, Joe.
On the free side of things, which I'll focus on because otherwise I'll be here for all night, I have Thursday, we have Grin Grab with Shinsuke Nakamura, which should be very, very fun. And Friday at 11:05 Eastern, we have Best of the Rest. I will be covering the National Wrestling Alliance, the Oracle of Wrestling will be covering TNA. Novi will be covering MLW, Adonis NXT, Caden Lee Ring of Honor, bunch of brands.
How did Adonis fluke that one then? You know,
he seems mad about it, so I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
I'll give him a pep talk. You know,
yeah,
I'll sit him down.
So yeah, there's going to be just covering some of the stuff we don't cover as much. Recently, we did Actual Wrestling Talk and covered some stuff from Japan and Mexico. None of these promotions came up when we were looking for standout matches, so we thought we'd cover them this way. So that'll be Friday. It's LNG 201, 11:05 Eastern on Friday. Thank you, Montel.
Hey man, gotta do it. So shout out LNG, Grapsody. Make sure you go follow, subscribe, see what they're doing over there. Over here though, what are we doing? So this Tuesday slot, we're gonna aim to do this, like I said, every week. We're probably gonna call it. I think I already have Wrestle Purist Podcast. The only reason why I haven't numbered this week's episode is because that means I'd have to go back and see where we was at. Wrestle Purist Podcast, what number podcast we're on. So this is just Wrestle Purist. This is just WPP at the end of the fucking title. But we're going to be hoping Tuesdays 2 or 3 p.m. in the afternoon every week, and it'll be a mix of the four of us that you saw last week. We're going to try and hopefully get Lyric to come through today, but she's busy and clearly hasn't had time. I did send her the link, but clearly hasn't had the availability and time to just come through on this one. But she should be back next week, next Tuesday. And of course, as usual, we've got the Friday Joe and Monty show for members. No Dynamite review this week for members. Apologies about that. It is Sat's birthday on Thursday when we'd normally been recording, and obviously he's got plans. He's had plans made for him. So maybe we'll get a ruthless discussion from Tempest and Sat this week. I'm not sure, to be honest. I'll talk to Tempest, see what he's saying. But yeah, man, the usual schedule from us, except for Thursday, and of course a lot of stuff going on LNG. And yeah, you got lucky with Grapsody this week with 2 episodes. So yeah, man, thanks for watching. Thanks to the few super chats. Thanks for all the engagement in the live chat. It really does happen. Guys, please like the video. It's one of the weirdest things about YouTube, how much likes matter. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. So if you're still here, please like the video on your way out. If you're watching this on demand, on replay, whatever, please like the video, leave a comment, just engage with the content, you know what I mean? And that kind of goes with anything. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Peace.